Yeah, definitely.
All right, good. Okay.
Just getting ready to go live, boys, and we are live on the Facebook. So, I mean, that was deep. Talking about, for everyone that's joining, we were talking about on today's subject, what is masculine and feminine energy? How does it play? Do we have one, or do we have another? Do we have both? And how much do we reckon we have of each? And it's really, really interesting, open conversation about what people felt, versus what we kind of are led to believe as to what's what. Just love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah,
So,
me. Yeah, okay. He's doing the nod thing, which means it's my turn.
And
Um,
I'm going
so
in
I think,
sequence. People.
yeah, 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 not wave. I think it was fascinating, and something to point out is that we didn't come up with a topic. It was two men in our private session that suggested several weeks back, right, guys, that we do a talk on masculine and feminine energy, and it opened up so many. I mean, we went down several rabbit holes. I think let's just put that disclaimer out there, and it opened up so many avenues of conversations of phrases that we've been brought up with, like man up, toxic phrases that men hear, like man up and things like that. And we talked about the English language and how certain languages, like the French language, have a feminine a connotation to us, the same word. In Hindu and spiritual, in a Hindu religion, we talk about feminine and male energy as well. It's referenced in a lot of spiritual books as well, and it just opened up so much depth in conversation. And the whole essence of the topic was, if I was to sort of summarize it, is that both masculine and feminine energy are in coexistence within us, and they exist in duality. Certain situations, like a loss of a parent, where somebody has to step into that feminine role or a male role because someone's passed away, or someone's working or doing 14, 16-hour shifts. It creates something called an energy vacuum, which I love that phrase because another one of the guys mentioned it on our group. And that energy vacuum is something that explained by, let's say, if a mother usually displays maternal instincts of sort of hugging and loving nature. And if that mother is no longer present in that situation, you're going to create the energy vacuum, right? That's going to exist. And the energy vacuum, to be specific, it's going to it's going to be referenced with certain traits that are normally synonymous with what we describe as feminine energy. Whereas, and that might make a certain male in that sort of timeline either withdraw because they're craving it, and they don't know how to express that emotion because they might think they'll be judged by other men, or it will get them to wear that hat because you have to perform that role, right? Because you have to show up at the end of the day. Someone has to fill that void. So I mean, I can talk about hours on the subject, but yeah, I mean, there were so many takeaways. It was beautiful to see two new people join. So we had two new members join. I know we had quite a few people registered and who couldn't join, who had some issues, I'm guessing, with their Zoom. So apologies, but when it's the right time, I'm sure we'll welcome you back. We've got a session next week, which the guys will touch on. So we had about 7 new faces that were registered, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, had some issues with their Zoom or personal challenges that they couldn't join. But it's so amazing to see that the organic reach defined by touching another soul that's a male that's going through something, that is opening up so many avenues. I think, Sagar, you've got something to share, haven't you? I'll let you share that with what we're about to do as well, just to sort of help us reach a wider audience as well. But I think for me, yeah, it's just been another amazing session, and for me to even process it, I've got to go for I think what's famously coined is now the cat out of the bag, my long walks where I reflect and process and gather the learnings of the space that we've created. And again, it's not our space, it's your space. So if you've got a topic that we haven't covered, please put it as a suggestion on our Mindful Men's Club chat, put it on this chat. And if there's a topic that you want us to cover, we will go deep, very deep into that subject, and we'll happily cover it. If you're a male, and you want to do a talk, you actually want to present the talk, please come forward. And again, we don't own the space. We only created the space. You guys own the space. If you're a female, like Annika shared with the live, with Saga, which I thought was amazing. I caught it on the replay, and it's amazing to see females out there who are like literally showing their love and support, and almost like getting guys to sort of say, hey, you need to connect with these guys, and you need to jump on this, because not because we're experts, we're not because we're counselors, we're not, just because we've created this space, and it's just simply an outlet. So I think for that reason itself, we're very open to new ideas and very open to receive. So I think I'll stop there because I can talk forever, right? So I'll stop there. But Sagar, yeah, I'll hand it over to you, buddy.
Thanks. No, agreed what you just said. It was a good session, and I think, as I mentioned in the actual Zoom event itself, that just one of the words that stuck with me was that man up. And it's so heavily used, and it's like more like a habit now. For guys to talk to guys who want to share, and the reply that you get, even there is no, I think someone who's going through something has the right to actually say over and over and over again, week in, week out. But and as a person who's actually on the opposite side and listening, for you to say man up, of course that restricts someone actually even reaching out even further. And this all goes back to that thing that we mentioned last week, is what is detachment, and it all goes back to that, because detachment doesn't mean you don't love someone. It's just sometimes you have to be emotionally detached in order to serve someone from your highest frequency, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
a lot of people, when you say that you're detached, they're like, well, we're not talking to that person because he's detached, so he's not going to understand what I'm feeling. Actually, we will understand a lot more, and we'll be able to give you not advice, but just we'll be able to follow that through, because we're emotionally detached. So we're not actually thinking on an emotional way. We're actually thinking, okay, what is the outcome and what can they do? So this session, as I said, the man up session, I mean, I know Manoj, you said you're going to go for a walk, which is great. I think maybe you should do the shamanic meditation, because all your spirit guides might come up into your journey and say, man up, man up, man up. And then see how you feel after that.
my spirit guide actually is so my spirit animal. I've done that. So my spirit animal is an elephant. I have a affinity with elephants.
I think quite a few people have elephant, which is good. So as Mano said, so what we've done is we realized people who have attended the group was that we get so many lovely comments and inputs and links to YouTube and so on. And just so we can have something in one place, we've just created a YouTube channel, Mindful Men's Club, a YouTube channel. We're just going to work on the final bits before it goes live. And as soon as it goes live, we'll post up the link on Facebook, on Instagram. We'll also have the link on the Eventbrite pages. So please do connect. And I've done it in a way that if you think there's a video that you may think may benefit from other people watching, you can share it onto our Mindful Men's Club YouTube channel, and we'll authorize it once we've verified that it's okay for it to go on. So please do connect up. And now that means people don't have to be on Facebook and Instagram, or just join and subscribe to those two just to be on the Mindful Men's Club. There is a broader thing on the YouTube channel which you can send to people around the world if you need to. So yeah, please do connect, and Viraj, I'll let you go on for the session next week.
Yeah, well, I mean, the next week's session is a bit of a bonus session that we're doing anyway, which I think is going to be really, really exciting. I think on just to add in on what you shared as well, Saga, like we talked about detachment and energies and frequencies, and And masculine, feminine energy, as we know it, is almost the same thing. It's just a different frequency that just requires you to perform a particular role or function at a particular time. Now, I think what's happened over the last few years, it's just been labeled as that's a man's role, that's a woman's role, whereas actually values like empathy, compassion, as well as strength and assertiveness are universal values. When you label it, you just kind of box people in to a certain restriction. And I suppose if you're in a male's body, you're like, that whole man up thing is like, well, what does that actually even mean? You're telling someone to man up, but it's like, okay, but what does that mean, right? Because if someone stuck at something or trying to run through or overcome a barrier, would you just keep telling them to keep running through that brick wall? Or do you help them find what is the ladder? How do you go up, around, through, under? Like, that's that. It's a very lazy phrase to throw around. And I think wherever you are, well, actually, it kind of goes back to, again, what we talked about last week when we looked at the quantum field and the quantum realm, is that energy is just frequency. And you can choose to elevate, you can choose to operate at a low frequency, but in any given situation, it's just how you create that energy to tackle the obstacle that you have, whether you're a parent trying to deal with a child, or whether you're in the workplace, or whether you're trying to be a friend or whatever. Like, it's all energy at the end of the day. So what does it really matter if it's labeled in a certain way, but actually how we react to those labels externally and what it means for the other person. And I love how you just detach from it and just take what it means for you and what works for you, rather than allow someone else to dictate what you should or shouldn't do. And I think it's so much more liberating. I'm really excited about the YouTube channel. It's a really great way for us to share some of the resources that we talk about in terms of like videos and content, and particularly in some of like the books that we've mentioned as well. And I just love how these things evolve. Like, it started off as a conversation that we all had a few months ago, and we started at the Manor, and got secured the venue, and now we're doing this every other week. And it's that quote that we were talking about from Vishen Lakhiani, about just destroying a part of your life to let the next big thing enter. And it's not like we're destroying what we're doing, but we're evolving. Like, we're not settling for good. We're saying, okay, what's good, what's working right now, and how do we make that great? And I think part of that has kind of been for us to detach from how we saw this thing was, to kind of allow it to kind of grow and evolve, and bring our different energies and expertise into serving the community of people that we're doing right now. It's really, really exciting. It's really, really refreshing. And for me, like, the icing on the cake is we're just doing this to serve. Like, there's no logical reason why we should be dedicating as much time to doing this as we are. And yet it's like every other week we're showing up. We're doing a bonus session next week on just to continue the conversation we had on spirituality a couple of weeks ago. And really, that's just a massive testament, and thank you for everyone that's participating. We've got 5 people on live now. I can see Yuvraj and Dharmesh are on here as well, and all the lads that are turning up and sharing the word, and Annika, the live that you did as well. Like, it's not about, the way I see it, I don't know if you guys will share, but it's not necessarily about likes, it's about legacy. And it's what are we putting into place such that the content that we share, that's evergreen. Obviously the Zoom sessions we have with everyone will always stay confidential, but it kind of ties back to what we spoke about in the session of the things that we didn't learn when we were kids. What are the clues that we're leaving behind? As they say, success leaves crumbs. What are the crumbs that we're leaving behind for the people that are going to follow us, whether that's our children or whether that's people that are our peers now, so that people can just live a more conscious, connected, authentic way of being that's true to themselves, and not overly affected by what's happening around them or who's around them, and just be able to just find their sweet spot.
Yeah, 100%. No, go on, Saga.
I'll just say, it's so weird you just said that, and I think I say that in my live as well that I did last week, and the journey that I shared with Annika, is when you are doing something in return for likes, then the only person that's not going to be happy is you, right? And then that puts your mood off, because then you're just thinking no one's joining, and then you're not going to share to the fullest, that to the way that you want to share, because all you're looking is at that number, how many people are viewing, right? However, when you go without any expectation of what's going to come back, and you just do it as and how you want to do it, indirectly you are helping so many, but you are not seeing that. right? Until someone actually reaches out. And there's nothing wrong with people not reaching out because they might want to keep it to themselves. However, and Manoj knows this, it all worked from Manoj sharing his story, which was written. It then, as we mentioned, Annika shared her story. Now, I wasn't going to share my story on the mental health week, right? But then I ended up sharing my story. And then 3 other people on the back of our stories, they decided to go live and share their story. And they've been wanting to do this for the last 2 years. So it's really weird that just one share created so many, and that's helped so many. But because we don't see that, we stop ourselves thinking, well, no one cares anyway. Doesn't
That's
really
the
matter.
ripple effect.
Exactly, and it is. And so, we don't push anyone to share, and we know that, and this is why I haven't mentioned names of people that have shared. But when you do share, one, it's an offload from you, and the more I realize, the more I share, the more I come on these Zoom sessions, the Mindful Men's Club. You think you're in that perfect place, and then someone shares something about just 2 words, man up, and I'm thinking, oh God, that's a trigger, right? So where I think, oh, yeah, I can do, actually, I'm still learning, right? And this is what Mindful Men's Club is about, right? Is we're sharing, but
I think that's the value of community. Your
correct.
blind spots just get revealed, right? You're like, you just hear something in someone, what they say, and you're like, oh, hang on. It's now in my consciousness. I can do something about this now. Whereas before, you just operate in tunnel vision, blinkers on, filters on, trying to power through life, trying to man up through life without even realizing sometimes that actually there's just something I need to take another look at, or actually another perspective has just shone that light on there.
Yeah. Nah, so yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Just to I guess no, thank you for sharing that, Saga. So just to flip that on the other side of phrases that have a negative connotation, I'd just like to mention something that I love and I heard is quote unquote, catch them while they're good. So whether that's your partner, whether that's your children, whether that's your friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, friend, sibling, brother, mom, dad. And what I mean by that is, how often do we actually slate people off for when they're doing something wrong? How often, and this is a question, I'm not saying anything, I'm just this question, ask yourself, how often do you actually give positive praise? Because human nature, we're conditioned animals and species to actually want a acknowledgement or support system. We crave connection, right, as humans. So catch them while they're good. And I use that with my teams and clients and friends, etc. And I use it with Sagar and Viraj, but they probably don't even realize I'm using it. So it's just about acknowledging, being present in the moment and acknowledging someone who's been there for you in your life, that showed up. And they don't have to do something magically profound, but just by being present and say, oh, thank you, brother. Thank you, sister. Or thank you for the showing up. Or if it's a child who's done something that you won't typically say thank you for, make a big deal about it. Catch them while they're good. It will shift your consciousness. It will shift their consciousness. And the whole essence of why we're doing what we're doing is with the hope and aspiration to just change one person's life at a time. Because all of us, for guys who are watching this, and the women, right? It's always important to notice that we've got a lot of women who are on a Facebook page, obviously that can't come to the Zoom session because a private session is just for men, but they know that they've got men in their life that are going through challenges, right? That they just don't have an outlet to talk about. And now we're getting a lot of women saying, hey, Manoj, Sagar, Havan, Viraj, where do I register? How do I register? Is it okay if this guy joins? I'm like, yeah, 100%, bring them on. And it's always important to share that we wouldn't be here without our sister group. So our sister group is called on Facebook, it's Mental Wealth. They do Zoom sessions as well. I'm not sure what the next one is. I think you guys you're on mute, Sagar.
Sorry, it's on the 23rd.
23rd. So if there's any women watching, please go on Facebook. Their page is Facebook at mental wealth, not mental health, mental wealth. And then you'll find basically the next event on the 23rd. And please, please, please register, because again, there's no other angle or no hidden agenda. One of the, I mean, two of the biggest things that we're very serious about is integrity and trust. And also we don't allow any business promotion, because it's not about that. So, and the women's group is exactly the same, and they have very similar guidelines. So just keep sharing content, keep showing up, and keep spreading the word, and just a heartfelt gratitude really for all the support that we're getting. And the reason we're saying heartfelt gratitude, I'm saying that, is because we never got that support when we were going through our mental health journeys. So we know what it's like to not have a space or an outlet to express yourself. And what's interesting is, just to sort of, I guess, wrap it up for me, because I can talk for hours, right? So apologies for this, but I've got a lot more feminine energy in me than I realized I had. And I had to learn that and growing up, because I was conditioned to, it's weak if you express your feelings, it's weak if you cry. Crying is healthy, guys. Yeah, if you want real power, real strength, show your vulnerability. That's where you get to really flex your muscles, if you want to really go down that vibe. So once you're vulnerable and you show, obviously there's a time and place to do that, and who you do it with, but once you show your vulnerability, it's like you get your superpower. I'm a big Marvel fan, so don't get me started on Marvels, but you get your superpower, and once you get your superpower, there's nothing that's going to stop you. Because going back to what Sagar said, you ain't doing it for the likes, you ain't doing it for the followers, you don't care about the haters, you're doing it to show up for your authentic self and to unmask who you really are. Yeah, because in society we always wear masks, don't we? We smile on the outside, but we're frowning on the inside.
And just bringing it back, it's the masculine and feminine mask in the context of today's conversation.
Yeah.
We put out some kind of mask outside to determine who and how we show up for other people, but yet we're not really connected to where's our energy and where's our flow. Whether we're at work, around mates, or looking after our kids, we have that energy is changing, whether you want to label it masculine or feminine, and there's nothing wrong with it either way. It's just what it is. And it's being able to, as you were saying, Manoj, just to shed away and be vulnerable and say, yeah, there are times where this energy is more prevalent than the other. It doesn't actually mean anything. It's just me being me based on who I am and who I'm around.
100%. 100%. I'll go on this live right now and say this, and I really don't care, in the nicest way, who's listening, that Sagar, bless him and Pritesh host a lot of spiritual events. If you don't know about it, contact Sagar, please, because I attended the last one on Sunday, and what Sagar didn't realize, and no one realized actually, and this is live, is that at the end of it, it was a beautiful experience, and I cried, but it wasn't crying in the sense of a negative connotation, but that's okay as well. But people normally associate crying with something that's depressing and sad, right? I was crying because I had tears of gratitude. Yeah, so I'm going to put it out there for all the real men, who are listening to this, that express your emotions freely, because until you do that, you are holding yourself back 1,000-fold. You just don't realize your mental, your physical, your spiritual capability and potential. So just don't be afraid. Obviously, there's a time and place and who you share it with, and if they're not energetically on the right energy, frequency, and vibration, then you can't do that, right? You can't connect with certain people who aren't on the same energy, frequency, and vibration as you. But once you find those people and you express yourself, it's like that series or that movie when a guy pops the pill, like Limitless. I don't know if you've seen that.
Great movie. Bradley
Amazing,
Cooper.
right? Amazing. I always like to quote my movies, and I used to be a massive movie buff. I don't get to watch much TV now, but the wife and the kids are hogging the TV. But that's all good. That's all good. But no, listen.
There's a comment here from Margot actually saying that crying is a release of emotion, no matter who you are, and it's that pent up stuff that going back to what you were saying, Saga, that man up comment is like, well, you've got no way to release it. It just becomes like a bag of rocks that you carry around with you for the sake of it.
Mm.
And sometimes you just got to drop
Who's the
something.
comment from? Sorry, Raj, I didn't hear.
From Margot.
Oh, okay. Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Thank you. Thank you so much for comment. And 100%, it's an outlet, it's an expression, and it's a release. And how can you let in new thoughts and new seeds in your mind if you haven't allowed yourself to process the thoughts and the feelings that are going on, and the 60, 70 thoughts that humans get? There's no magic number, no one really knows, but 60 to 80,000 thoughts that the human mind processes every single day. That's like a tornado of thoughts going around in your mind, right? So if you don't have outlets, yeah, like if you don't have outlets, whether it's emotional release, whether it's physical release, like going to the gym because it's releasing those endorphins, etc. Whether it's my favorite release, which is talking to people and having deep, meaningful conversations, and I would refer to myself. I never actually said this out loud, but I'll say this. I refer to myself as a spoken word artist because I love to write. So my release is writing. So find your release mechanism, whatever the outlet is, whether it's painting. I've got some beautiful friends who are some amazing, amazing painters, and some musicians. Like whatever your release is, and it's not just a release, it's your channel of expression of how to express your energy. Find it.
And it's a gift to everyone else, really.
Absolutely. But listen, we can talk for ages. I need some food. I need some food. I need to get my steps in as well.
Yeah. I should see my children. They're downstairs.
Sorry, guys. I was just going to say, just a correction. The mental wealth next session is the 20th of June, not the 23rd. So next 20th of June at 2 o'clock. And as Manoj said, you can follow them on Mental Wealth on Facebook, and you've got the Eventbrite link on that. So once again, it's Mental Wealth and it's for women. So please do share and reach out to the Mental Wealth group.
Yep, and we've got our next one next week, which is going to be great. We've had coming in from Pravesh. Hey guys, very interesting topic to listen to. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully see you next week at our Spirituality Going Deeper bonus session, which I think that's going to be straight off the bat. We're just going to go straight in, I think, based on the last two that we've had.
We're not going to hold back. We're just going to go straight in. But listen, thank you for everyone who's joined in, and we do have to wrap up because Viraj and Sagar have got things to do, and so have I. But have an amazing, blessed weekend. Keep showing up, never give up, and find your expressive self, whatever that shape or form is. And don't be afraid to ask, right? A lot of people will reject you, and a lot of people will close the door on you, but there's people out there who are willing to listen to you. Believe me. Sagar is witness to that, Viraj is witness to that, and I'm witness to that. So just don't be afraid to just ask for help and reach out, because on a very, very serious note, there's a reason why we've got this crazy, stupid statistic of men having the highest suicide rates in the world. And let's just, life is too precious. So let's just do whatever we can to make a change and a difference in the world. But I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Have a great weekend. Catch you all soon.
Have a blessed one.
Thank you to everyone for joining us, and see some people who of all you next week.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Peace out.